from what I'm hearing about online dating, right? I mean, I've been doing it since dial-up, right? Since before there were dating apps, before there were any of it.
AOL.
AOL, Chat House, Yahoo
Damn.
Messenger, all of it, right? So I've been through. It's been an evolution as technology evolves. So does our communication, right? But so what we all can also agree to is that the same way you communicate on a keyboard or on a phone is completely different than how you relate to someone in person. So when you relate to someone in person and you live the life completely offline for at least 20, 30 years, you know and can remember and have the muscle and the social awareness in order to relate to complete strangers who you're standing in line with. That's still not an awkward feeling for you. If you're 20 years old, if you're 15, of course, the only thing you're looking at is your phone. You're not looking at anyone around you because the only thing you've grown up with is an online connection, a hyper connection to digital friends, avatars, and a world that isn't real. For us of a certain age, we grew up in an era where we faced and woke up to reality every day, and we woke up and went to sleep and did it again. So we're now living in an era where digital reality is kind of overcome and circumspect our younger people. And the more connected and hyper connected they are, the more disconnected and disassociated they are in reality. And that's a major problem. And now you're seeing this epidemic of hyper uses of apps in order to communicate with the opposite sex, because in reality, it's just become too difficult. So the online thing has always been a buffer, an emotional buffer that says, well, I can say whatever I want to you and not feel bad about it because you just have a block or a delete key. In reality, it's different. When you had an argument with your best friend, like that really did take a toll on you. You took some time out to reassess your feelings and you had to apologize and make that relationship work. And that's how you still rock with that person even till today. So it's just a completely different world that we live in that younger people don't know how to really navigate versus us for the older generation who do.
Quick question. As far as you, do you have a preference on whether you would rather meet someone online or, start off communication online or in person? Do you have a preference?
My preference is that in the few moments that you can meet someone in person, the amount of energy and excitement that you get from even talking to somebody who attracts you and that you're attracted to them, nothing actually defeats that moment. That moment, that eye contact that you made with that one hot chick, nothing beats that. Looking at hot women online all day doesn't compare.
Am I
Oh,
in a
go ahead. I'm
Disney
sorry.
movie
Go
right
ahead.
now? Energy? You a grown man, ABD. Energy? You talking about energy and eye contact?
Yeah, sexual chemistry. If she's feeling you and you feel what Trey, if I'm feeling a girl and she's feeling me because we're eyeing each other, that's not something you can really scientifically explain. You can just only try and put words to it.
All right, it's on you, Trey.
Shout out to Pokemon.
Yeah, I got nothing. I've heard this phrase once, and I truly believe it. Men are in love and women are in business. I don't think the women feel the same way the men do. When I hear men talking about energies and chakras and eye contact and all that, I just sit there and think, I don't think the women feel the same way. I think women are opportunistic and they're doing exactly what they want to do to get what they want in the long run. I think a lot of men are falling for it. Dating apps are, in my opinion, a way of sort of balancing the scales a little bit. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is that I've never had sex with a woman who didn't allow me to have sex with her. Plain and simple. At the end of the day, that's how it works. So if I had sex with her and I met her on a dating app, it's because she wanted to have sex with me. And I think we need to face reality that there are a lot more women that would rather just have a hookup. I think that's bothering some people out there because they can't believe it, but that's just the truth. There are a lot more women than there are not who would just prefer a hookup, and they're good with it. We just had spring break. I may or may not have been able to travel down to Miami. It's a lot of women down there that just want to hook up. That's it. They are not looking for relationships. And a lot of times, a lot of men, including myself, can source these women through dating apps. It is what it is.
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you do what works for you, and when you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, if that's something that you're fine with and you feel fulfilled and you don't feel empty and you don't feel less than for, you know, how you move, you got to live with that. Nobody else has to live with that. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what works for you, continue doing that. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we just out here trying to figure out what works for us. With some people, I mean, with Into the Black Dragon mentioned, I understand that. I understand meeting somebody like for the first time and having that feeling. Haven't felt that in a long time. But when you do feel it, it's undeniable. I don't disagree with what you're saying about, you know, men are in love, women are in business. I mean, I can see where you're coming from in terms of that. In, I guess, the time we're living in now, you know, where online everybody's trying to put their sports center highlights on the internet. So yeah, that's business. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody that's looking for somebody to invest in them. That's a business situation. That's why men are out here standing in front of Ferraris with a fly ass suit on as their post, because they understand that, yo, this has become business now. So I have to make it look like I am a businessman, you know. But at the end of the day, when you standing in the mirror and you not really a businessman, and that Ferrari you got from, what's that car rental, Toro, you know, that Ferrari's from Toro and that suit is from Men's Warehouse, and you know it's not real, it's just a costume, you got to live with that until you don't, you know, until it eats you up, you know what I mean? So everybody do what works for them.
Well, it's only fair game. You can go out on the streets. I mean, I wasn't always on dating apps, and you can meet women in person, and her hair isn't hers, eyelashes aren't hers, she got makeup on, nails. She isn't representing who she is either. I mean, we can play this game all day. The fact of the matter is when you first meet somebody, you are meeting typically their representative. It is typically who you're meeting on both sides, men and women. So that's why I'm saying this whole, oh, well, you know, I looked her in her eyes and I felt this instant. Well, how? Those aren't even her real eyes. Those are color contacts.
Nah, I mean, in
Lies,
person,
because
that's
when
what I'm
I did
saying. In
it,
person is different. In
Damn.
person is different. That's where I separate like the internet from in person. You can see what's what. You know what I mean? If you a student of the game, you can see what's what. You can figure out what's a weave, what's contacts. You know what I mean? Online, they can present that much better to you than they can in person. In person, you know what I'm saying? You could creep up on it. You could smell a pack of weave in a head, like, you know, especially depending on if it's summertime, you like, God damn, that's a weed, you know what I'm saying? That came from Sally's Beauty Supply. But you know that initial feeling is different.
It's
You know what I
prime.
mean? You don't get that
It's
online.
primal and it's instinctual. It's nothing that it defeats. I mean, because men are logical beings, right? At the end of the day, we have to threat assess. We have to show you know, respect how we move through the universe. But what happens is when we come across certain women, right, that we're attracted to, we behave toward that woman completely different than any other woman that we've interacted with, and that's the chemistry I'm talking about. Like when that woman is expressing interest in you because you've made eye contact, if you're not letting go and breaking that eye contact for at least like maybe 10, 20, 30 seconds or longer, there's an actual interest there that says it's a nonverbal communication that there's mutual attraction there, and you both can't stop but looking at each other. And now you're on each other's radar, and now somebody's got to say something, right? Because that's what tension is. That's what sexual tension is. It's mutual attraction. It's a jackpot, and it's rare.
I feel like I saw this in a
can't-
movie somewhere.
Yeah, you can't
no,
sit there and
it's real.
no
You
goddamn
cannot.
20 to 30 seconds, man. You're a fucking stalker now, dog. That's a long time.
Nah.
Stop. No,
Go
let
ahead.
me tell you something.
Look,
When I
man,
met,
most of your companies got a 3-second rule. You can look at a person if it's you. He said 20 to 30 seconds.
but when he said 10 to 20.
No, he didn't. You say 20 to 30?
Okay. 10. Let's just say 10 to 20, right? Let's just say 10 to 20
okay. I'm glad you
because like
cleaned that up. God
no,
damn.
I'll clean it up. But what I'm saying is when you're on each other's radar as man and woman and there's a mutual attraction and interest, you're on each other's radar. You're both mutually attracted to each other. It's not stalkerish. I mean, it's just
It's
what
not.
happens.
Let me tell you why. Because when I first saw this man that I talk to now, we were at an event and it was for me, it was like slow motion. Everything slowed down. So I completely believe you, Enter the Black Dragon, because it happened to me. And I'm probably one of the most defense mechanism having females that I know. Okay. But when I saw this man, that all flew out the window. I felt like Pocahontas, her was blowing in the wind. I was trying to see how the man smelled. Okay. I was like, I need to get closer to him for some reason. Why is this? And now look.
So, but you as a woman can get away with that looking at me for 20 to 30 seconds. As a
I
man,
don't think it
we
was that
cannot get
long, maybe
away.
6 or 7. But we
No,
definitely,
but
he was looking at me back. It wasn't
no,
a
I'm not. Listen what I'm saying, Cookie. I'm talking about the example that Enter the Black just said. He did say 20 to 30 seconds. That's what he said. He didn't say 10 to 20. He said 20 to 30. So as a man, I cannot sit there and look at a woman for no 20 to 30 seconds without something being said or maybe considered inappropriate. Because what if she's not interested in me? I'm rolling the dice. I'm taking a chance. I look at her. I'm looking at her 20, 30 seconds in. Yeah, she might. What's wrong with you, creepy motherfucker? And all of a sudden, I'm getting the
no.
drink to the face.
And you know what? I feel sad for you that you've never actually had that moment because it is a real thing. It's not like you sitting there counting the seconds. It's just kind of like it's a moment in time that doesn't really have a stopwatch on it, and it's you can't really explain it. And y'all are looking at each other. It's not a ooh, she bad, creepy. I've had that happen to me. I had it happen to me yesterday. I'm talking about a mutual, you catch eye contact mid stride with someone who may be standing still or walking as well, and y'all just looking at each other like you may even known this person in another life. You never
Yeah,
know.
I don't think
If a
y'all must
woman's staring at me for
20 and
any
30
longer than
seconds.
5 seconds, I
That's
think
a
she
long
plotting.
time.
It is a long
20
You
and
time.
30
But
sound
seconds.
hurt, Trey, and I wanted to say that the whole show. I
Don't
feel
do that.
like
Don't do that. Don't do that. You're not licensed. You're not a therapist.
Trey's
You can't
fine.
speak on
Trey's fine.
anything that's happened in my life. So don't do that.
oh,
Okay,
I'm
Don't do that.
let's
sorry.
I
get
don't
back
know
to
you.
it.
You don't know
20 to
me.
30 is a long
Yeah.
time. That's all I'm saying. 20 to 30
I
seconds.
think it feels like a long time, but when it happens, well, I guess the point that I'm trying to make is it's not the amount of time, it's the fact that it happens.
I knew what you meant. I know what you meant.
And it don't mean
But
that
I
it's
mean,
going to be some.
somebody for about 5 seconds tell, okay, she got something. Let me go over and have a conversation. That's 20 to 30. That's a long guy. Now I might start to see shit that I don't like. Then I'll say I do 20 to 30 seconds. All right, man. She walk with a goddamn limp. I don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds
Maybe it
like
just
harassment.
seems like that, Black Dragon.
It just
Maybe
seems maybe a long it's a long okay, let's put it this way. It's a longer time than usual than you're looking at anything else. When something captures your attention, it captures it for a long, long time. But when it's a woman who's looking at you and then you're looking at her, that eye contact doesn't like it's a game of who looks away first, but neither of y'all want to do it.
And
Yep.
like I said, it don't mean it's gonna be no, romance, for the ages type shit. It's just it when it happens. And that's something that I feel can't be captured online.
Right.
You know what I mean? Online is more manufactured. You know what I
Right.
mean? Whereas like I had a situation like during COVID, I was just going to the post office to mail something off. And, I walked in and I heard a chick, she had like one of them English Jamaican accent mixtures. And I looked back, boom. When I looked back, she was looking me dead in my eyes, probably like 3 seconds. I'm like, okay, she all right. You take a snap, you look back, take a snapshot. Then I look back again. She was looking me dead. Boom. Another like 3 or 4 seconds. So I'm like, hold up. So I'm, my back is to her. So I'm like, let me try again. So I looked, same thing. So I'm like, all right, dog, she's trying to, you know what I mean? She's interested. So I go mail my thing off, and she must have ran back to the car real quick. And then, so we crossed paths. So I'm like, so she mentions, because it's during COVID, so I had my mask, so I was struggling, you know, to breathe, whatever. She was like, oh, you look like you're struggling to breathe, you know, whatever. I'm like, yeah, a little bit. So I'm like, okay, this is the first verbal. So I'm like, all right, she's throwing it out there. She had a child with her. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to, I don't know. I feel like if a woman has her kid with her, I almost feel it's almost like her mom is with her. Like you kind of don't want to just be macking a chick while it's a child there. That's how I feel. You know, like I wouldn't do that if her mom was there. I would feel some type of way. You know what I mean? So I wrote a note and put it in the door handle, because I saw the car she was coming from, and just hopped in my car. I ain't think nothing of it. And she called me probably like 20 minutes later. You know what I mean? So I'm like, just took advantage of the moment. You know what I mean? But it's stuff like that that's going to be missing. You know what I mean? I got to assess it a lot more because it was face to face.
Jay, did you have your brown bag with you just in case?
Absolutely not. Maybe in the glove compartment I had my car. So
you know what I mean when I say that's some condoms. That's how you keep it in the clinic. Brown paper bag.
Grab bag.
Yeah, don't get caught slipping like Ikane. Shout out to my man if he's still here.